Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at how to actually paint your own cars, make your own liveries in iRacing. Because when I first started out doing this and racing with iRacing, there was some information online, found either random links via Google, the iRacing message boards, or YouTube. But none of them really covered it in a manner that was easy to understand how things work, especially things such as the matte and chrome paints, how that work. And hopefully this video will enable you to be able to do this in a lot shorter time span than was possible for me. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is open up iRacing. One thing that's important to know is that you have to own the car that you want to paint. If not, you got to have a friend send you the template file. For example, if you're making a paint for a friend. There's one downside to that, and it's going to be pretty much impossible for you to preview the car without owning it. So buy the cars that you want. If you're making it for a friend, have him pay for you to actually make or buy the car so you can make the paint for him. Alright, so we're going to go to My Content, Paint Shop, and we're going to find the car that we want to paint, which in this case, I'm going to be painting the Porsche 719. As you can see here, and we're just going to hit Download Template. Now that's going to download, and it's going to pop up in our Downloads folder. So I'm just going to extract that, like so, and we get the PSD file here after we extracted it. We're just going to open that. Photoshop's going to start up, and we're going to be seeing our paint here. All right, so what we want to do is basically work in this blue layer group here, which is called a paintable area. We can already see that there's some pre-mades here. There's some car patterns. Those are the patterns that are included that you can pick within regular UI painter. So we got a lot of different things that we can work with here. I'm just going to delete that. I usually do. We've got our base paint, which is a base color to the car. We've got our pit box colors. We got a couple of decal sets. We got the tag hour paint. We got the IMSA paint. So you can basically choose if you want to use one of those or parts of it. You can basically just paint over it like so. Another thing to make sure that you do is turn on the wire layer, such as so you can actually see where you're painting and where the parts are. The other parts here are the car mandatory, which is basically parts that are going to be that paint on or that color on the car, no matter what. You got the number blocks. You can see if you're making a custom number block. For example, you can see where the numbers will be in the actual game. Sponsor blocks. Never really seen those used. We got the mask layer. Basically, what the mask layer does is just create a gap between your parts. If you paint over it, don't really bother with that. It doesn't matter, as long as you don't sort of mix the colors on the different parts that you want to paint. So yeah, make sure you have the wire layer on, and we can work from there. All right, so with this car, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to go with a white base paint. I'm going to go with a black hood, black roof, black hood, like a rear hatch. And I'm going to go with some chrome details. Maybe I'll even put some carbon on there, because the chrome details work very good with the carbon paint. So first what you want to do is you want to go here, basically just make a new layer. And let's call that hood, and let's call it black because it's going to be black. So basically we're going to end up with a lot of different layers. Some of them we're going to merge, some we're not, and it just makes it a lot easier for us later to kind of sort them by what they actually are. So I'm going to be zooming in here. We're going to be holding Alt and scrolling in. Then I'm going to start painting with the pen tool, just going around here. We make sure that we're not crossing the green lines of any other parts, because then you're going to have a tiny little corner that's a different color than the rest of it. So just go around, and like Like you can see, this is gray stuff. This is the layer masks, or the whole paint mask. Don't worry if you go over that, because that's not going to show on the final product anyway. Oops. See, I went over there. Make sure you get clear when you're doing these parts that have a small gap to the next part. So just paint all the way around. Boom. When you see you've made it around, press selection OK. You'll see now that the hood itself is selected. So we're going to make sure our color here is on black. Then I'm going to hit Alt Delete, and the hood is now black. All right, great. So select, deselect, or Control D. All right, so let's do both the roof and the hatch at the same time. Let's make that one layer. All right, so we're going to start by painting the roof, just covering it with a pen tool. And also the pen tool is a great tool if you want to try to make lines across the entire car. If you want to make like a color split somewhere, use the line tool. It's really easy to get it to look nice if you do that. Of course, it's going to take a lot of trial and error to begin with, because of the lines of the car doesn't look exactly like what it does in Photoshop in the game. So you're going to be tabbing in and out of the game while you're painting to make sure that this looks okay, and I'll get back to that later in this video. All right, so we've painted we're ready to paint the roof. Great. And that's done. Select, deselect. Now we're going to paint this, and as you can see, there's some stuff inside here. So basically what we're going to do is, you know what, actually, let's make this real easy. Let's just go to the brush tool. Make sure that's not at 5,000, because that's going to sting. This is just for simplicity's sake. Say you have some huge parts, or you just want to paint, for example, one part on your car. You just basically paint it like this. Oh, and make sure that this is set to solid. It usually helps. Hardness 100%, because then you don't get a fade on what you're actually painting. So yeah, this is just to show you that there are different ways to do this. Make sure you cover the lines such as this. Make sure, okay, you can go over here, because obviously the roof is the same color, so it doesn't really matter. Just make sure you're not touching any of the other parts. Boom. That should be nice. Just one over it. All right, so now we have the top side of the car is now black. All right. So let's open up the game and actually see how our result looks so far. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you open up iRacing. You want to hit Go Racing, Test Drive, and you want to make sure that you select the car you're painting, obviously. The rest of the settings don't really matter at all. So just hit Continue and Test Drive, and it'll load up iRacing. One thing to note is I'm using VR when I'm racing, so it's since it's connected, it's going to give me a few prompts here to, as you can see, to start on the Oculus Rift or not, and that's just a hassle when we're working on the monitor. So just if you're using VR, just press no on these prompts, and it'll start up on the monitor, and it's a lot easier to navigate when you're working with the paints. All right, now that we have iRacing up and running, we want to go and just press tests and escape right away. All right, so just move the replay up, and if we move the camera around, we can see that, okay, we have some random paint here. I have some logos. This is something I did like way long ago. So we're going to be returning to Photoshop, and when we're here, what we're going to do is we're going to save that file in the iRacing folder. So we're going to go, first off, you want to remove the wire or it's going to look ridiculous on your car. So we're going to go to File, we're going to go to Save As, and we're going to find our iRacing folder in the Documents. We're going to go to iRacing, we're going to go to Paint, and we're going to find our car, which should be right here. And as you can see, there's no Photoshop files there, but that doesn't matter because we're making a TGA file. So basically you want to go here, and as you can see, I've been racing quite a bit and it's downloaded a few paints. What you want to do is you want to get your own number. You can get that. I'll share a link how to view that later in the video. Mine is 313303. Right. So you want your file to be named car underline and your user number in iRacing. And we're just going to hit save. All right. And save as 24-bit. Boom. All right. So my car should now be blue with a black hood and black roof and a black trunk when I get back into the game. So now that we're here, back in the game, I'm going to press Control R, and you can see it turns white. And this is why painting cars in iRacing takes such a long time, because you have to refresh it every time you change it. So you press Control R, you can see the car is white. I'm going to be pressing Tests. We're back in the car. Oh, you can see the colors change. Then I can hold Escape, get out, and then I can see my actual changes. See? So it's basically just as I wanted. Great. All right. Let's get back to making some more changes to the car. Add some logos, maybe. Just see maybe some chrome, carbon. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do now is just add some chrome, and then we're going to add some carbon to it. So we're going to put carbon on maybe a few parts and the rear wing at least. So I went ahead and I downloaded a carbon paint or a carbon background off of Google, just random Google. So we're going to be cutting that to fit with the parts. So I'm just going to drag and drop this into Photoshop. And as you can see, it's going to make itself as an own layer here. So we're just going to place it, because you see it covers the whole image. That's perfect, because then we can cut what we would need from it. So I'm just going to hit enter to place. And as you can see, it's a layer. So it goes on and off. Great. So basically what we want to do now is we want to select the pieces that we want to be covered by this. So here's the wing. We're just going to make sure that we zoom in close enough so that we don't hit the other parts here. We're going to be painting all the way around. All right, let's just use that. We got the rear wing. So, okay, we've selected it now. Now we're going to enable the carbon filter. As you can see, it now cuts around the rear wing. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Select, and we're going to inverse. All right. One thing here, before we're able to do anything with it, we got to enable it for editing, because it's going to be rasterized. So just go to the eraser, just press it, and you're going to get this prompt here. Just press OK. Okay, now we can start deleting stuff. So basically, to paint it, we use Alt-Delete. Just to delete it after inversing it, we're going to be just hitting delete, and you can see the whole of the filter disappears, and we got just the rear wing left. That's because we inverted it. We deleted everything that we hadn't selected. So if I inverse again, you can see now we're covering this. So if I press delete now, it's going to delete that. All right. So I'm pretty happy with that. We're going to deselect it. Now we're going to be doing the same thing over again, basically, but we're going to do it in a different way. So now we're going to be starting to merge these layers that we want to have matte. So I'm going to merge these, just tag them and merge layers. So we're going to call that filter now, or the layer now, for just black because it's all the black parts on the car, right? And we're gonna hit the select tool here, and we're just gonna basically drag it, make sure it covers everything that we painted before. As you can see, okay, it's now covering all of them. Once that is selected, we're gonna make a new filter, and we're gonna call that matte black, right? Because this is the filter or the layer that we're gonna be using in the spec map folder to make it actually matte. All right, so we got to select it. Now we're going to be going to colors. The spec map works so that every red color you place in the correct file or the correct folder will turn into metallic, and the greens will turn into matte. And there are different shades of everything, so it will depend on how light or how dark your colors are. So I'm just going to go with a really light green, and we'll see how that turns out. So you can see now I have a matte black, and I'm going to paint that using Alt-Delete. Boom. All right, great. Done with that. That is now done, and I can just place it at the bottom of the heap for now. And now we're going to do the same thing with the chrome. There, you see the carbon is now all painted again. And we're going to do a red, solid red. Remember though, make a new layer. So we're going to call that chrome wing. Yeah, why not? Paint it, Alt-Delete, or Alt-Delete. And yeah, that looks good. So select, deselect, just drag it to the bottom. All right, are there any other things we want to change here? Probably, but for the simplicity of the video, we're not going to do that. All right. So what you want to do now is you want to look into the spec map, and you can see we have the red channel metallic. All right, and we have the green channel roughness. All right. So the green channel, that is where the matte parts are. So we want to move this matte black into the green channel. And we want to move the chrome part into this red channel, like so, between the parts and the base color. All right. Once that is done, we want to enable the spec map filter here, or the layer. And we're going to do the same thing we did before when we deleted this. And we're going to press File, Save As. And we're going to, again, save it as a Targa. Gonna find my folder here, paint, find the car, and again you want to make sure that it has the correct name. So I want to find mine. Okay, that's my car 313303, but I'm gonna add car underline spec underline to it. All right, and I'm gonna save that, and what that'll do, boom, is that once I now go back into the game and I refresh the paint, we got to go into test, of course, and I go back out, you'll see now the roof and the hoods turn matte. And as you can see, I forgot to do one thing before I went in here, and that was to save the actual paint. So you can see that the blue on the wings gotten sort of a chrome look. But the carbon's not actually there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into Photoshop, and we're going to disable this, and we're going to disable the wire, and we're going to change the base color into white, which was what I intended to, like so. Just going to paint it, make sure it's all white. All right, make sure you have the base color layer selected when you do this. Yeah. And yeah, that looks great. For the fun of it, let's just enable the tag hour car decal right here. And we're again going to go to File, Save As, Targa, and we got to go find the folder, Paint, and we're going to find our Porsche 718 GT4. And again, we just want to basically overwrite this one. Make sure it's your own. If you're in doubt, again, check the description. I'll link you how to actually find your ID. So yeah, okay. Save, overwrite, 24-bit. Okay. Alt tab back in, and we're gonna press Control R, test, and voila! Now our car should be great. Look at that beauty, huh? We got the matte, and we got the chrome, which I said with carbon looks pretty swell. Yeah. So that's basically the whole video. The points I wanted to get across. I'll also add in just one more detail, and that is how to add a logo. It works basically exactly the same way as adding the chrome here or the carbon parts. So we're gonna be just finding a logo off of anywhere. We're just gonna be dragging it. I'm gonna use my sponsor logo now for the race I'm doing. Just gonna drag it in. Boom. As you can see, you get the logo here, and you can resize it however you want. Say I want to make it a bit bigger, 120. Just make sure you do the same for both the height and width, or it's gonna look pretty weird. And I want that to be on the roof, like so. All right. Yeah, that'll do. Boom. Also, you can paint that with a chrome or matte look also if you want. Just same way as we did before. We're going to save as. Again, we got to navigate to the folder because it defaults to where you last saved the PSD. So paint, Porsche, Targa, and we're going to find my ID, which was here. Save, boom. Back into iRacing, test, and you're going to see now that my sponsor's logo is on the roof. Boom. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope this video was informative and that you'll be able to make a sweet livery for your car, your team's cars. Please drop a subscribe. Also follow my Twitch. I'll link my social down below. Have a good day. Hope you enjoyed.